Hello everyone, this is NG36B talking about Action Plan 7. How do we train the average user to safeguard data properly? I actually really like this action plan. I used to be a training department head, so training is right up my alley. It's something that we do in the Navy all the time, and unfortunately I don't think we always do it so well, so it'd be nice to contribute to perhaps a different way of doing business. I think the biggest thing that we maybe miss the boat on when it comes to training is the fact that if you want something to stick, it's not just enough to do one or two training sessions. I can tell you this as a former nuke that the only reason that nuclear safety actually works is not just because the people that are recruited are really smart or that they have books that are very, very detailed, but it's also that the training is repeated um, all the time, and it's really ingrained into nuclear culture to follow the book, to do things by the letter of the law, to have watch team backup, and that kind of thing. And I think it's the culture piece that we often miss. Um, so in this case, for safeguarding our data, the first thing that we need to do is really define what it means to safeguard. That's actually pretty easy. It should be preventing unauthorized access to the data. So whether it's unauthorized access, as we think of it, probably from an outside entity, say a Chinese hacker or say a member of the public that's not authorized to view that, or even a member of our own service that should not have access to that. Um, it's really preventing the people that don't need access to it from getting to the data. The second piece to that is then we need training for it, and we do have training that exists now. I think everybody's familiar with the information assurance training with little win a trophy here and silly garbage like that. And most people kind of click through that and think, thank God it's done. It just gets longer and longer every year, and it's sadly about the same. Um, I think we can do better. I think we can probably deliver the training a little bit differently each year, but then I don't think that's enough. I think we need two additional pieces besides initial annual training and initial access training. I think you need automation when it comes to data safeguarding. And I say that, and the first thing I think of is seatbelts. If you sit in your car, you can't help but be reminded that you're supposed to get your seatbelt on. Most modern cars nowadays, when you sit on let's say you get into the driver's side and you sit, there's a pressure switch that activates and it tells the car that there's a person in there and that they should be wearing their seatbelt. And if you don't buckle up, you get a little annoying light and you get a little annoying buzzer. And the darn thing does not go off until you buckle your seatbelt. Um, I know at some point, if you keep driving, it'll go off, but the reality is that it's there and it keeps annoying you, and eventually makes you just want to buckle your seatbelt. If nothing else, so the darn thing will turn off. Um, also, so we need something like that first of all. So we need those reminders for data safeguarding. So let's say we need to have a system in place that scans for PII and says, hey, there's PII here and it's not encrypted. Or a reminder on your email when you go to send something with an attachment that says, does this attachment have PII? Would you like me to encrypt that for you? Maybe we could bring back the little paperclip from Word, right? That would bring up those friendly reminders that, hey, it looks like you're typing a letter. Would you like me to do whatever? Hey, it looks like you're sending PII. Hey, it looks like you are sending sensitive data. Would you like me to, help you with that? But I think we need something that's automatic to help people get into the habit of thinking of data safeguard. We also need ways of sending files securely. If we think of email, but there's also other ways of doing that. And there is a safe file transfer and things like that. They're not very well advertised, and I think they need to be advertised more readily. Um, the last piece is we need to create a culture of data safeguarding. Um, you're going to create a culture in a lot of different ways, and you have to attack it from a lot of different ways. My thoughts are, number one, you need to have, I think you can return to the days of OPSEC posters and you can make data safeguard posters. It sounds really cheesy, But let's be honest, how many, if I say loose lips sink ships, how many people can think of poster? Like you probably just thought of it right now, right? You're thinking the poster with the little Titanic looking thing sinking into the ground, or sinking into the ocean, right? That's the kind of thing that we need. We need visuals that make you think data safeguard, right? And we need visuals that are, I would say pretty graphic. I mean, if you lose data, right? We just saw a case where data was lost and ISIS is attempting to threaten our families. That needs to be a wake up call for people. You know, our enemies are not stupid. They will gladly use our stupidity and our lack of knowledge for data safeguard to use it against us. And we need to have stuff up there that reminds the average user every day about that so that we build it into our culture that you safeguard data. I know in the intelligence realm, we have a shredder everywhere, and we have this policy of you do not put paper in the trash can. It seems stupid, like if you scribble some paper, or even like if I have a coloring page from my daughter and I hang it up, and then eventually I go throw it away, right? Because over time they get replaced by other ones. I don't throw it away. It goes in the shredder because paper goes in the shredder. That's just automatic. It's so bad that I have a shredder at my house here, and I automatically shred paper because that's just what you do with paper. Because it's become automatic for me because that's the culture. So I think we need to do that with posters. I think we need to do that with our annual training. I think we need to have little catchy sayings about data safeguard. We need to find where there are errors in data safeguard, and we need to kind of enforce that. I think it's something that needs to be drilled into us when we talk about kind of like leadership training and whatnot. When we do those kind of like annual GMTs, when we do the kind of the safety, we do like a safety brief every freaking Friday, right before you go. Data safeguard needs to start coming up on that stuff. Like, hey, make sure you don't discuss this. Hey, make sure that it, as every eval season, for example, hey, you're taking evals home because most people do. They print them off, right? Hey, that's data. You need to be careful with that. If you lose that sailor's data, their credit card might get stolen, their identity might get stolen, somebody might get it and might threaten their family. We need to have that message out there until we get to the point where data safeguard is as automatic as you getting into the car and buckling your seatbelt without even